maybe you didn't feel helped, or that your nervous system capacity was just overwhelmed, overworked, and it wasn't able to fully process what you were feeling in those moments. So it stored the energy, the frequency, the emotion within the body, which I'm going to get to. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey. This is your weekly sanctuary for waking up from autopilot and transforming the way you approach life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It is my mission to help you heal unprocessed emotions and release stuck energies by alchemizing your struggle cycles into opportunities for deep self-love, awareness, trust, and connection, to return to your innate essence of being, stepping back into your energy of alignment. Because here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light, embodying all parts that make you, you. So if you are ready to get to the root of cultivating real change, get cozy, grab your journal and maybe favorite crystals, and let's discover our power within together. What is up, beautiful listeners? Hi. I am completely changing the script. You guys obviously have no idea what I plan to record when I plan to record it, but I had a root cause therapy session this morning, and I have something in me. I need to share this message. I need to share this educational, informative episode today. Just this session that I had this morning was so powerful, so impactful. The processing, the release, like the somatic release, the somatic processing, the breakthroughs, the aha moments. It is just so beautiful to witness. And I'm just so thankful to be doing this work because, I get to heal right alongside you. Witnessing these transformative, unfoldings, it is so powerful for me too. Let alone for the person that is receiving the session. Oh my gosh, tenfold. I am so excited to have another guest on the show who is going to come on and share their story with root cause therapy. She also received 3 sessions. So that will be at the end of the month, spoiler alert. But I just, as a collective, if you've heard this, if you haven't heard this, if you've heard this in a different capacity or different, vocabulary, is, what you give off, people feel that, right? And when you are in a space of healing, when you're in a container of, feeling the love, you give that. I know that you've heard the saying, smile, it's contagious. Your energy is contagious. Healing is contagious. Love is contagious. It's just, I have chill. I seriously am shaking right now. I just am so proud and grateful and just so humbled. Damn, being a human, it's hard. But it's so true. It's hard. But okay, let's jump in. Back in episode 126, we talked about the missing link, and that missing link being subconscious blocks, right? We can be feeling like we're doing all the feelings. We're saying the affirmations. We're journaling. We're doing the personal development. But if we have these subconscious blocks, these nervous system dysregulations somewhere stuck in the body, we are not going to move forward in the external. Yes, the journaling helps. Yes, the affirmations help. Yes, the personal development helps. But to an extent, we have to get to the core. We have to get to the root. We have to get to the foundation. And I think on that episode, I shared the example of the chocolate cake. Okay, I'll share it quickly here again. If you haven't listened to episode 126, it was a very top listened to episode. I loved that episode. I think it was really short too. But okay, chocolate cake. Consciously, you're deciding to lose weight. You're going to go to the gym. And you go to the gym, you go to the gym, and you find yourself getting so ticked off because you keep eating the damn chocolate cake every night. You get out of the shower for the last time, you're just angry at yourself. You see yourself in the mirror. You're like, God damn it, I'm done with this. This is it. I'm done eating the pantry when everyone else is in bed or, after dinner. And you're serious. You make this conscious decision. However, if there is a subconscious belief there or a nervous system dysregulation that the cake gives me comfort. The cake makes me happy. The cake gives me that dopamine boost, not beast. The cake is helping me escape from emotional pain. You might last a day. You might last a week. but you're going to eat the chocolate cake because the subconscious, unconscious mind usually always wins. Because the unconscious mind remembers when you were in that state of dysregulation. It holds on to those feelings and that energy within your body. And it creates a protective mechanism around it so you don't, quote unquote, have that same experience again. So our unconscious, our subconscious, it's a lot of the bulk of our behaviors, our thoughts, our emotions, and it's made up of traumatic experiences, of memories, of just events. If you, I do talk about little t and big T trauma. It doesn't have to be something so big T trauma. It can be, your teacher telling you that you're not good enough, or, someone telling you that you're ugly, or like something happens. It could be so minuscule, but in that moment, you didn't feel safe. Your body was at a capacity or overloaded and it wasn't able to process, insert that nervous system dysregulation response. And that's where our behaviors and habits and patterns come from. So our conscious mind is where we experience our thoughts, where we experience, yes, our conscious awareness, right? Our realities. But just think that is just the tip of the iceberg. We need, like, a lot of what I help is really getting into that body, getting into the soma and feeling into the emotions within the subconscious mind as well as the conscious mind to get us all on board again, to tell that nervous system that we're safe and to realign with the changes that we want to make in the life that we want to have and how we want to feel moving forward. So nervous system is the science piece, right? And a scale of consciousness, what we're going to dive into today, is more so of like an energetic standpoint. And this, we get into both. When we are working together in a safe container, we are getting into both the science and the energy, the science and the woo, right? Because I believe that both play such a vital role. So to learn more a little bit, just like a quick deep dive of nervous system regulation, episode 127, I talk about 3 steps to rewire your nervous system and how to shift your energy when you feel stuck. So episode 126, episode 127, and now here we are at episode 132. And here I want to go a little bit deeper into this concept because this is where we say the root cause of your present addiction, your present mental health, your present self-sabotaging cycles, your present limiting beliefs that you're living in today's reality are caused from some past said experience, possibly from suppressed emotions, possibly from trauma. If you believe in generational, healing generational traumas being passed down, in the lineage, we're holding this in our body, in our DNA, in our cells. Okay. So when we go through something that's dysregulating to the nervous system, I'm just going to reiterate this quick. When we go through something that's dysregulating to the nervous system, we go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So this dysregulation, whatever said experience was, this stuck emotion or stuck trauma in the body, is not what happened to you. That's why I say, yes, big T trauma it's intense. It is not forgivable. It is not okay. But healing is not about what happened to you. It's about what happened inside of you as a result of what happened to you. Now, if that's triggering to you, I want you to hear this again. It is about what happened inside of you as a result of what happened to you. It does not excuse or dismiss what happened to you. However, if you want to heal from this, we have to focus on what happened inside of you as a result of what happened to you. Because your body created a protective mechanism to keep you safe in that moment, in said experience. Because possibly no one was around that was safe when said event happened, or maybe you didn't feel helped, or that your nervous system capacity was just overwhelmed, overworked, and it wasn't able to fully process what you were feeling in those moments. So it stored the energy, the frequency, the emotion within the body, which I'm going to get to explaining in a second here, which is, let's transition right now, actually, because I feel like I kind of, got that point across. So let's get into the scale of consciousness. Let's talk about this here. Yeah, I am going to pull this out. So I'm looking at a visual here, but a scale of consciousness essentially says, this is created by Dr. David Hawkins, and it shows you list of emotions, okay? Any emotion you could think of, peace, joy, love, acceptance, down to grief, apathy, guilt, shame, like the whole like scale. Think of a scale, like the whole scale of consciousness, okay? And there's heavier, lower emotions being the shame, the guilt, the apathy, the grief, the fear, the anger, the pride, and moving up to the higher emotions, which is the willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. And each emotion holds a frequency. Okay, so the scale shows what that frequency level is on the scale. Because we're all energy. We are all energy of vibration. The universe, the chair I'm sitting on, myself, the world, the trees, everything around me, we're energy, which also means our emotions are energy and vibration as well. So the lower emotions on the scale, being that grief, that shame, that anger, they're a lot heavier. Okay, they hold more weight. They're compounded, they're dense, they're heavy, they're foggy. The higher emotions are lighter. The love, the peace, the joy, the enlightenment, they're lighter, they're flowy, they're free. And as human beings, every single one of us wants to feel these high vibrations. I don't think anyone wants to feel the anger. We don't want to feel the guilt. We don't want to feel the resentment. But it's also life, and we will feel those feelings, right? But we want to feel the higher vibrations, the feeling of peace and joy and love and connectedness. And we're all on our own way and our own path, and we all have our own journeys, and what happens is this accumulation of it all, right? Those negative emotions also, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the jealousy, and we start accumulating said emotions if we're not able to process them in said event or in said moment. So we accumulate the guilt, the shame, the fear, the anger, the sadness. And what happens when we hold on to these emotions and suppress them because we're not able to process them in the moments, we begin to become fully drugged down to the bottom of the scale as like a baseline. You've probably heard me say before, like, let's raise our baseline. So when we're feeling more of the guilt and the shame and the fear, have you ever noticed like those cycles kind of continue, because your baseline is kind of lower on the scale because our emotions are a feedback mechanism. So let's paint another picture here to kind of bring this to life. I'm sitting in a chair at a desk, okay? I believe this is a chair and this is a desk. And it's not, it's a neutral feeling. It's just something that I was told. And it's just this neutral thought belief, right? However, a thought belief of I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. I don't love myself. I can't be vulnerable. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not confident. These are all belief systems that were also created, possibly, and they can have an impact on our life. So everything is created by like a single occurrence, can be created by a single occurrence. So using this table or using this example of this desk and this chair, one day when I was little, I'm sure someone told me like, hey, that's a chair. That's a desk. It's a table. And I agreed. I agreed with them so much that I programmed this in my subconscious programming. And now I know, hey, this is a chair. This is a desk. The same can happen for those beliefs of feeling I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough or I'm not loved. It could get a little hairy and complex because someone might actually tell you like you aren't good enough. That definitely can happen, but it could be other things where like even as young kids, we are very smart and we take in and can process and can read energy probably better than a lot of adults, right? So this happens in a single event. This belief is created throughout our life. So when we don't feel into these moments and process them in those moments, they can become heavier and heavier and heavier to the point where someday, like, gosh darn it, I can't even get out of bed. Depression, right? And something too, if you're kind of feeling in a state of depression or if you're feeling, anxious, start with saying something like, I feel depression. Don't say I am depressed. It's a quick, simple, like little word change, perspective shift, but it's telling your subconscious like you are not that, but you're feeling it. And that's okay, right? But when you start identifying with it, it could get stuck a lot and compound a lot more. So when we find ourselves at the bottom of this scale, like our baseline is so low with these compounded feelings, we feel stuck inside, we feel these heavy emotions, it gets harder, the cycle is on repeat, and we're like, woe's me, oh my gosh, right? It feels harder and harder to feel these higher states of love and peace and joy and bliss. So what happens, possibly, is a coping mechanism might come in. I mean, and these vices can look like many different forms, to the point of addiction, drugs, alcohol, or gambling, or shopping, or eating, or internet, or work, or your self-talk, or perfectionism, or being stuck in these fight, flight, freeze, or fawn states. Like the list goes on. Because we want to innately feel these feelings of peace and joy and love. That's what I call like living in your energy of alignment, right? That's when we're on that higher scale. So I'm gonna use an example here, and I'm gonna use like a physical vice, not like, because I said like perfectionism, self-talk, being stuck in fight, flight, freeze. I'm gonna use a physical vice for an example here to paint kind of another picture here. Like, yes, we can get into fight, flight, freeze, fawn in any moment, and we could talk about this on a future episode, but go back to 127 if you want to learn more about those states. However, from a physical vice coping mechanism standpoint, we all have vices. And it's easy to judge and put labels on other people and, maybe even yourself. But the truth is we're all on a spectrum, and we find whatever works for us to take ourselves away from that emotional pain that we might be experiencing. So whatever coping mechanism that we choose, we temporarily get to cover up these negative, quote unquote, these heavier feelings, the guilt, the shame, the apathy, the grief, the fear, the resentment. We can numb it out for a little while. And we get a taste of these higher states. We find, this works. Okay. I'm able to block being like a bolded word here. We block out, we numb out these negative emotions, because now, wow, I'm feeling courage. I feel happiness. Gosh, I don't remember the last time I felt this. It's been years since I felt this confident. This is amazing. So if you do something that takes you to one of these higher emotions that you can't normally get to naturally by yourself, let's use another example of shopping here. You shop more than you need to, more than you can afford, because when you shop, you get this release of dopamine, and it takes you to joy and acceptance and reason and love, whatever you're perceiving or whatever your body like wants to feel, right? It's going to get you to that point. It's going to imprint in your mind, and you're going to be like, well, shopping gives me this feeling that I want to feel, and I don't know how to do it without it, right? And it can become detrimental to us, and we can possibly keep sabotaging, because this is how addiction can start. This is how people and why people go back to that vice. Whenever we stop that vice or that coping mechanism, we go back to feeling those states of guilt and shame, because we haven't addressed it at its core, at its root. We've simply covered them up. We've numbed them out for a short period of time. So we get stuck in this yo-yo looping cycle, and we go back to the behavior. Maybe feeling a little more conscious willpower to want to stop, but by golly, it makes me feel so good. So we get stuck in this looped cycle. So the key to breaking this cycle is to go back and find out where you're holding on to these unprocessed, suppressed emotions, stuck energies within the body from your past, from an event, to be able to process them and release them, and somatically, this is a somatically approach, release them and move up that scale of consciousness naturally to feel those feelings of happiness and peace and love again, to raise your baseline. So it's all about diving into the past, figuring out where you're holding on to this stuff, and connecting to your body and inner wisdom to process it and release it. It's like good stuff. Good stuff. This freaking fascinates me. I am just so obsessed with the mind, body, spirit, soul system. So I invite you to take a step toward self-awareness today. I mean, if you're listening to this, I'm saying I invite you to take a step forward in your self-awareness and just notice your triggers. Notice when you find yourself pulling for that, whatever that vice is for you, and numbing out. And if you're ready to start releasing that stagnant, stuck, compounded energy and somatically move forward and connect with yourself, I'm going to link my page with a few different options for you based on where you are at in your journey. You could start with a free clarity call with me, and then we can explore together what avenue is best aligned and feels good to you. So grab that link in the show notes or go to naturallyempoweredliving.com/products. And I hope that you were able to receive this in just an awareness light, like just the light of, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. And just release what doesn't. I mean, don't take on what doesn't resonate. And if you have to listen to this episode again, feel free to do so as many times as you need. And if you want to, like, if you have a follow-up question, go ahead to the link. Sorry, my cat just is like staring at me. Kind of freaked me out for a second. I felt someone looking at me and I was right. Go to the link in the description and you could submit the form of what you want to hear on the show. I love to hear from you guys. If you have a follow-up question or if you have something that you want to hear based off of, like, if it sparked something in you, grab that link in the description. I will also link it in the show notes. And now my cat is on my keyboard, so she might be stopping this recording early. Okay, until next week, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. I'm sending my love and so much light.
Did you find this episode free or empowering? Please read my review. Tickle, boop.
Thank you for spending this sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. If this episode brought you closer to stepping into your energy of alignment, I'd love for you to leave a written review and share how this show has supported your journey. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps others find the space of transformation. And sharing it with someone who might need it spreads the ripple of healing even further. Be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with me and explore personalized healing sessions and mentorships to deepen your self-awakening journey. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.